Welcome,
Wow.
everybody.
I didn't know there was music you could dance to. That's awesome.
Thanks for joining us for this presentation on Italy.
I didn't know there was music you could dance to. That was awesome.
Thanks for joining us for this presentation on Italy. Just want to introduce Chris and Frank from the Italy project. They're our project coordinators. So they're going to go ahead and take over the screen here. Any questions you might have about the Italy project, if you can save those and post them to the new post on G2G, which I'll share that link with you in just a second, that I'll have in the comment and across the bottom of the screen, but post your questions there. We won't have time in this presentation to answer any questions. So I'm taking myself out. Frank.
All right. Thanks, Azure.
Okay, thank you, and welcome to the Italy Project presentation. Today, we're basically going to be going over what's been going on with the Italy Project recently, because we have gone through a lot of changes, haven't we, Frank?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just a list of some of the stuff that we've been working on. I mean, I got categories, and more categories.
More categories. We've got categories everywhere. We basically had to reboot the entire project from the ground up, and it's actually been very helpful because we've gotten more members now than we've gotten in like years and years. We, don't call it a comeback because we've been here for years. So, and well, we're going to cover, I think, most of our recent changes because there's been a lot and it can be a little intimidating, but I think you guys know what we're all about. The Italy Project covers, that boot-shaped peninsula in the middle of Europe that's sticking into the Mediterranean, and it's had a long and sordid history. And we'll cover that too in a little bit. But right now, we're going to talk about the categories. We have categories for every single town and city in Italy. And what we try to do is we try to keep it to the present day name of the city and where the place is, like now. But sometimes you might find some cities like Lamezia Terme. Lamezia Terme was once still there in Italy, still there in southern Italy, and it has incorporated the towns of like Nicastro. So you have to be very careful when you organize some of those cities and towns and everything like that. And we have
one place studies. We've been jacking up a lot of those for sure, and we'll talk more about those later. I mean, so if you've got a particular ancestral town that you really want to, highlight and spotlight, and do a lot more than just, list people. They'll talk about, history of that town and where people have emigrated to from there. We've got free space available for you to set up a one-place study, and we'll show you some of what those look like later on.
That sounds like a plan. But our main resource hub that we've been using for the last few years has been the site called Antonati, and they've been doing a few changes. Some of them have been a little complicated, but don't relax. Everything's all good because they've actually made it simpler now, because you can go to each town and just go to each image and organize everything, and it's pretty cool. We've actually got a citation program that we'll actually talk about, and we can actually look at some of the records right now. Frank is going to call out what some of the records look like now on Antonati, and they are basically what we've been used to, what we've been doing, but now you can instead of having individual images, everything is all combined into these little folders, I guess you can say. And apparently they're not loading. There they are. You want to zoom in on one of those? There you go. You can zoom in. It's really crystal clear. And I know some of you might not be able to read some of this, but basically this is a birth record for someone that was born in January on I think it says the 12th.
See, that's dated January 1 of 1809. So
yes, in the town of Mondongo.
Mondongo, hey, good place.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I've never been there.
Yeah, and so in addition to the and Antonati site being rebooted, and they've added a ton more records just in the last year. So, if you looked at it within the last few years, and your town wasn't there, it's worth taking a look back and seeing now they have added, several different provinces of records. So, great stuff. And then Greg Clark, our buddy, has set us up with a new citation builder for the Antonati site. So it will take a record like this one right here. You copy the URL in from Antonati. It'll automatically fill in some information from the website. And you can see down there, and then you put in the name of somebody, Joe Blow, year 1809.
Yes, because Joe Blow is definitely an Italian name.
Yeah, Giuseppe Blow really is what his friends called him.
Yeah.
And then it'll create for you a citation for you to stick in the biography on WikiTree. You can do it with named reference tags, looks like this. You can do it without reference tags, just to throw on the bottom. You can do it with just simple reference tags, and it looks really nice when you take it and plug it into your WikiTree profiles.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and it's actually very helpful, because we had, during the latest Connectathons and all that stuff, we had to reorganize some of the Antonati links for clean-a-thons, and it's a pain, but we did it, and we did pretty good.
Oh yeah, we got a big shout out to Alish too for running a script that went through and took all of the old Antonati links that were in there, which didn't work in the new system, and converted them to new links that work. So that was a monster help.
Yeah, because we were told we'd still be swimming in thousands and thousands of profiles that use the old links. So huge shout out to Alesh.
Yep. Another new resource that's been up is the Diocese of Agrigento, which is in Sicily. They have a new site up that has church records for that diocese. Some of them go back to the 1500s. Lots of scans that you can just kind of browse through.
Yeah.
So that's a great new site if you have Sicilian heritage.
And if you don't understand the language, I'm sure us and Italy Project will be happy to help you with that, right, Frank?
Absolutely. We've got links, we've got resources for you. So yeah. So and Chris mentioned, we've had a lot new joins coming through into the project in the last year, and some of them have really been helping us out on the Sourceathon and Connectathons lately. I know Morgana took in a huge GEDCOM for the town of Agnone in Abruzzo, where we both have some history, and brought in just a metric ton of new profiles with good sources and everything, thanks to the folks who run the Italian Genealogy site.
Yes, we have definitely gotten a lot of help over the last year or so, and some of our old-time members have been helping out too, like Isabel Caruso. She's been taking over the category section, and we have Christina Corvalani. She's been working on the migrations and everything else, and she's actually based in Argentina. So we've been getting people from all over the world who have Italian ancestry and everything else. But don't forget, we have people who aren't necessarily Italian working with us too, because their spouses are also Italian, like Greg, and we have people who just like Italians, people like our leader Azure. She took over and she keeps everything running smoothly, and we have this chat where we're all talking at each other at once, like Italians do, and she likes to try to keep us in line. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but
absolutely. Yeah. So getting back to a little bit more about Italy, if you're kind of new to Italian genealogy, we got good news and we got bad news. The good news is there are a lot of great civil records that are available for Italy, and the Antonati site is put out by the Italian government in conjunction with Family Search. Family Search does the scans, Antonati provides the site. And those civil records in some places go all the way back to Napoleon. So thanks, Napoleon. From 1809 to about 1815, he controlled most of Italy except for Sicily, and instituted civil record keeping there. And you can kind of see in the map what things looked like before before Napoleon. No, it was a jumble of different countries, different kingdoms, duchies, etc. But not everything lasts. Napoleon was gone in 1815, and most of the north of Italy just said, okay, well, we've had enough of that. We're going back to what we used to do with records, which is all in the churches. So if you've got folks who are from the north of Italy, there's a huge gap in available civil records from 1815 to about 1866 or so. Sometimes you've got access to the church records, sometimes you don't. But different parts of the north, like the Kingdom of Sardinia, which also includes Torino and Genova, started their own civil record system. The southern part of Italy, the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, formerly the Kingdom of Naples, the Kingdom of Sicily, they were combined under one leader. They kept civil record keeping going and started it up in 1820. So if you have people, in your background, your heritage from the south of Italy, you've got a full run pretty much of civil records from 1809 to the present. And then with the start of the Italian unified state from 1866 or 1871, depending on where you are in the country, all civil records look the same from that point forward. So good stuff.
But still, it gets pretty complicated because I've actually found recently that, okay, the San Pietro minor records, they get everything all numbered specifically, but if you go to someplace like Frecento in the same time period, they will actually number the ordinances longhand, and they will put the person's first name before the last name in the index. That's really weird, but it's complicated. That's how Southern Italy was. So your mileage may vary from town to town. Some records are really good in some towns. Some of them are just really weird in other towns. And you just sort of get used to it after a while, but don't let it deter you because, again, we're always happy to help because, like Frank and I said, it is really complicated there, and it's still complicated to this day.
Yep. So we mentioned categories. Just we'll talk a little bit more about that as we close up. Just some reminders on how we do names of places in WikiTree for the Italy project. But now I think Chris was going to talk a little bit about some of the one-place studies that we have set up in here.
Well, we have, I'm a little biased here because we have San Pietro and Maida, which is where my dad's paternal side came from. And we have organized everything here by, where everybody was living and basically going into the town records and just organizing who lives and where and just uploading them to WikiTree when I get a chance, when I have a free moment. And it's been really fun and really rewarding to do. And then I've been finding all these connections from San Pietro, like friends of family and stuff like that. And it's been really cool. And what's really cool is that the people from San Pietro actually link to people from Haverhill, Massachusetts, where my dad was born, and there's a connection there. So I had to make a one-place study for Haverhill, but that's another story.
Yeah. So we've got some others listed up here. We don't have time to go into all these today, but we do have, there's more one-place studies for Italy that people have started up. I've started up a couple of myself, just kind of in the initial process. If you're interested in getting one started, let us know, and we'll be happy to help you with that too.
Yes.
So I think we're running out of time, but we're going to just close with kind of some reminders about, when you're working on your Project Italy profiles. Number one, sources. So please remember to add sources. In the source-a-thons, we've been taking on a lot of those fly dump profiles from old imports of GEDCOMs. Try to use freely available records whenever possible, as opposed to things that are behind paywall. And unfortunately, with Italy, most of the records are available on either Antenati or on Family Search. So those are great links to have. There are some areas of Italy where records are paywalled. I think Ancestry has a couple of different areas where they're not available anyplace else. But
some birth records on Family Search you can only get at a Family Search center, like San Pietro's.
Yep.
And also, don't forget to use the birth, marriage, death, place names. Use the present day names for the categories because it gets really complicated. It's sometimes some cities, like I said, envelop into others, and it's just a real complicated mess. So we just use the modern place names just to avoid any of the complications that may arise. And also, don't forget that Italian women keep their surnames after marriage unless they immigrate to America and marry somebody else or marry down there. But by and large, Italian women do keep their maiden names after they get married.
Yep. And then on our Project Italy page, we have a link to a really great list of resources. So some that are Italy wide, and we even have a very nice spreadsheet in there that kind of just shows you just by province within Italy where you can find records, whether they're in Family Search or Antenati or Ancestry or someplace else. So do take advantage of that. We've got regional sources listed too. Some information about how to find Italian surnames, vocabulary, reading the script, translation guides, all kinds of good stuff. And then I guess the last thing, just as a reminder to everyone, hey, join the Italy Project.
Please join. We don't bite, and we have a lot of fun. So please join us if you want to hear more about this insanity. So take care.
Yep. Thank you much.